mentioned the device that is set up now here at LeagueCom. Dan Fox with us. Explain that, Dan.
So this is a shot of the TrackMan radar that's been at this ballpark for a few years, and that is the radar system that during the game will report pitch velocity, movement, spin, and the batted ball information as well, exit velocity, launch angle, that sort of thing.
And this ballpark is also set up for, and it's not used yet. I think someone told me that Jupiter is the only ballpark that's actually testing the automated strike zone.
Right, during the regular season here for the Florida State League, they'll be testing the automated ball strike system, and so the tracking system that will do that is going to be live in this park for the start of the minor league season.
So let's go back to the pitch profiling. I think the people at home would love to hear about what exactly is spin rate, what is spin axis, the efficiency of the spin. Can you go maybe just a little bit in depth on what those things are when it comes to pitch profiling?
Yeah, so essentially a device like a TrackMan radar or the Rapsodo in the bullpen session can measure what is the RPM of the ball coming out of the hand. So a typical major league fastball might travel at 2,300 RPM on the way to the plate. A guy with a curveball or a slider that can really spin it might get it up to 3,000 RPM. And then the spin axis would tell us the direction that that ball is spinning. So when it comes out of the hand, if it is, we use sort of a clock face to talk about the direction of spin. And so when it comes out of the hand, if it is moving away or it's moving into a right-handed hitter, that might have a spin axis of 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock as it travels to the plate. There you go, now we got a baseball. Yeah. And so what that does, the combination of the spin rate and the spin axis, so as the ball comes out of the hand, it might be coming out like this. And so that spin axis is going to generate movement that moves into a right-handed hitter, and it might provide a little backspin, and so it's going to ride as it comes to the plate. And that will generate then a certain number of inches of movement, both horizontally and vertically. And so using that data, what we do is kind of plot it, and then you can show the pitcher, well, your pitches plot in this area in terms of its amount of run, its amount of ride, its amount of sink, and so on. And you can look at that relative to players like him, to league averages, to other pitchers. And then using that data, of course, we can sync that up with what hitters do against pitches like that. And when the pitches like that are located in different parts of the zone, obviously.
Now, Dan, so this is going on at the big league level. How much of this is now trickling down throughout the organization?
All of it. So it's the same technology. So over at minor league camp today, using the same devices to track pitches, to work with coaches, work with analysts on that, and then trying to apply it in the same way in games as we go through the season.
So I'm going to dive a little bit deeper with you talking about comparing players and almost creating where you can do a pitch design, where you can say, okay, Justin Verlander has a release point at X, and his spin rate is at X. We have a similar player that has a similar release point. We believe that we can maybe match those two things. We explained kind of how that process would go about, throwing a bullpen, comparing, and kind of moving forward into maybe a pitch design session to create better pitches.
Yeah, I think that, one of the primary things, though, that we talk about is helping the pitcher do better what he already does well. Mm-hmm. And so changing a guy is not always
right.
The most important thing. It's helping him to perform his best with what he has. But yeah, the coach can take information about the pitch profile, can look at the high-speed video, and can try to work with the guy to make maybe subtle adjustments. It may be a grip difference, maybe a wrist position, it may be release point that maybe imparts just a little bit different movement that might get it closer to something that might be ideal for that player. And a lot of times what you're trying to do also then is allow the pitcher to create pitches that differentiate from each other. So you want a fastball that maybe rides, and you want a curveball that is more vertically or more downward oriented than it is horizontally. because you want those maybe to differentiate more at the plate. So I think a lot of people have seen overlays of pitchers throwing 5 or more pitches and, watching those diverge at the plate. Well, that's the ideal. That's what you want to get to. And so using the data, using the video can help a coach work with the player to try and maximize that.
Well, Dan, thanks so much. It's always fascinating to talk to you. Appreciate you stopping in for us. Dan
Thank
Fox.
you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.